Part 2. The most connected generation, but also the emptiest. There is something happening silently in this generation, and many adults still do not understand it. We are seeing young people surrounded by technology, but emotionally dying inside. Never before has there been so much information. Never before has there been so much access. Never before have there been so many digital tools. Never before have there been so many opportunities to learn, create, monetize, and grow. But never before have there also been so many young people confused about who they truly are. Today we see teenagers who know how to edit videos, but do not know how to control their emotions. Young people who can create viral content, but cannot hold a deep conversation with their parents. Teenagers who spend 8 or 10 hours consuming social media, but cannot spend 10 minutes in silence without anxiety. And this is not accidental. We are living through an emotional, mental, and spiritual war, because the enemy of this generation does not always come with visible chains. Sometimes it comes disguised as excessive entertainment, constant distraction, fast dopamine, instant pleasure, digital validation, emptiness disguised as popularity. Today, many young people are searching for identity in the wrong places. Some seek acceptance by exposing their bodies, others seek attention by destroying their dignity, others seek value in toxic relationships, others seek refuge in video games, pornography, drugs, or alcohol. Others live trapped in silent depression while posting happy quotes online. And the strongest part of all is that many parents have not even noticed. There are young people crying silently inside their bedrooms. There are teenagers fighting suicidal thoughts without anyone realizing it. There are young people consumed by social anxiety, fear, rejection, and constant comparison. And meanwhile, the algorithm keeps feeding an emotionally exhausted mind, because an emotionally wounded person consumes more distraction. And this generation is being distracted every single day. They wake up with their phones. They walk with their phones. They eat with their phones. They sleep with their phones. And little by little, they stopped listening to their own inner voice. Many no longer know who they are without the internet. That is dangerous, because when a generation loses its identity, it becomes vulnerable to any influence. And today the world is full of empty influences. Influencers who teach luxury, but not principles. People who talk about fame, but not purpose. Content that entertains, but does not transform. Videos that generate millions of views, but slowly destroy the mind of the person consuming them. And here is a strong truth. Not everything viral builds you up. Not everything popular heals. Not everything with millions of likes has value. There is content that feeds the mind, but there is also content that destroys the soul. That is why this generation needs spiritual discernment. It needs to learn how to filter what it consumes, because what constantly enters your mind eventually shapes your heart. And today, many young people are being shaped by violence, pornography, hypersexualization, hatred, comparison, materialism, pride, ego, and empty content. Then later we ask ourselves, why is there so much anxiety? Why so much depression? Why so much emptiness? Why so much anger? Why so much frustration? Because the human heart was not designed to live disconnected from God. The human soul needs truth, it needs identity, it needs purpose, it needs direction, it needs real love. And hear this clearly, a phone will never replace a hug. Social media will never replace the presence of a father. Video games will never fill a deep emotional void. Pornography will never teach you true love. Digital fame will never give you spiritual peace. Many young people today are emotionally exhausted, tired of pretending, tired of comparing themselves, tired of feeling insufficient, tired of not fitting in, tired of hiding wounds. Because social media created a dangerous culture, the culture of pretending perfection. Everyone shows their best moments. Everyone shows trips. Everyone shows money. Everyone shows perfect bodies. Everyone shows edited happiness. But few show their real struggles. Few show their nights of anxiety. Few show their tears. Few show their emotional breakdowns. Few show the emptiness behind the screen. And so many young people end up thinking everyone is happy except me. And that emotional lie slowly begins destroying their self-esteem. But today someone needs to hear this. Your value does not depend on a like. Your identity does not depend on a comment. Your purpose does not depend on internet approval. You have value even if nobody applauds you. You have purpose even if others do not understand it. You were not born to copy the world. You were born to impact it. But to achieve that, You need emotional healing. You need to learn how to disconnect from the noise. You need to listen to God again. You need to listen to your conscience again. You need to recover mental discipline because this generation has enormous potential but little emotional stability. Many want quick success, quick money, quick results, quick fame, but they do not want the process. And social media made that even worse. Today, many young people abandon dreams because they did not get results in 1 week. They lose focus quickly. They lose discipline quickly. They lose motivation quickly because they were conditioned to instant gratification. Everything fast, everything immediate, everything easy. But hear this, great things require process. Maturity requires time. Character requires discipline. Emotional stability requires inner work. And true transformation begins when someone stops blaming the world and decides to work on themselves. Because, yes, maybe your childhood was difficult. Maybe you grew up without a father. Maybe you suffered rejection. Maybe you were emotionally wounded. Maybe you suffered bullying. Maybe nobody believed in you. Maybe you lived through emotional abandonment, but your pain cannot become your permanent identity. You cannot spend your entire life trapped in the past. You cannot allow yesterday's wounds to destroy your future. There are young people still carrying words they heard years ago. You are worthless. You cannot do it. You have no value. You will never go far. And those words are still echoing inside them. But hear this today. God never called garbage what He created with purpose. God did not create you to fail emotionally. God did not create you to live in mental darkness. God did not create you to live without direction. There is purpose inside you. There are gifts inside you. There is capability inside you. But you need to wake up. You need to stop numbing your pain with distractions. You need to confront your wounds. You need healing because a wounded generation ends up wounding others. A young person without identity ends up following every trend. An emotionally empty person can destroy relationships, friendships, and even entire families. That is why emotional healing is so important. And yes, prayer is powerful, but you also need discipline. You need healthy habits. You need better sleep. You need to take care of your mind. You need to learn how to control what you consume digitally because you cannot feed your mind with garbage every day and expect emotional peace. You cannot consume constant violence and expect tranquility. You cannot fill your soul with pornography and expect mental purity. You cannot live comparing yourself all the time and expect healthy self-esteem. There are young people losing entire years endlessly scrolling through social media while their dreams are dying. Hours and hours consuming content, but building nothing. And here's the problem. Many are entertained, but they are not growing. They have information, but not transformation. They have distraction, but not purpose. And God is calling this generation to rise up, to leave emotional mediocrity behind, to leave conformism behind, to leave the victim mentality behind, to leave mental laziness behind, to leave the toxic dependence on social approval behind, because this generation has talent, it has creativity, it has technological ability, it has intelligence, it has powerful tools. Imagine if all those gifts were used with purpose. Imagine young people creating content that heals, apps that help people, businesses with values, music with purpose, videos that transform lives, messages that restore families, projects that bless communities. That would truly change a generation. Because social media can also be used as light. You can monetize with integrity. You can create educational content. You can lift people emotionally. You can speak about mental health. You can inspire discipline. You can teach values. You can share hope. You can preach truth. But first, you must heal yourself because you cannot give peace if you are destroyed inside. And today, God is calling many young people to awaken spiritually, to understand that life is not only about entertainment. Life has purpose. Your existence has purpose. Your pain can become testimony. Your wounds can become wisdom. Your process can lift others up. But you need to stop running from your reality. You need to confront your emotions. You need to ask for help if you need it. You need to believe again. And especially, you need to understand something very important. You are not weak for feeling. You are not weak for crying. You are not weak for asking for help. True emotional strength begins when someone stops hiding and decides to heal. And perhaps today is the day when a new generation decides to rise, not to pretend perfection, but to live with truth, with purpose, with identity, with discipline, with faith, with values, and above all, with a healthy heart before God.